So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our third Innovation Design Minor Talk series. I'm Hua Tong San, Associate Professor of Digital Media and Global Design and Associate Director of Global Innovation Design Lab. We're very excited to have you join our event today. So we'll begin the meeting with a land acknowledgement first. So we begin this meeting by acknowledging that we learn, live, reflect, and teach on this ancestral land of the Coast Salish people. In this traditional homeland of the Puyallup tribe of Indian, we'll make intentional efforts to create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and the social-political realities. So let us continue to advocate for and partner with our indigenous neighbors as we continue our lifelong work together as a dynamic and inclusive community of educators, leaders, learners, and designers. And we are very proud to bring a guest who are Native American woman who is very successful to today's event. Super exciting. Okay. Next, thanks for waiting till now. We are going to meet our speaker, Meahgan Pear. So Meahgan Pear is a proud Native American belonging to
the Meahgan Band in Potawatomi.
So she is the National Marketing Director and Leader for the Viral at BDO USA LLP, a member of BDO International. With a visionary mindset and bold approach to marketing, Meahgan helps ignite profitable growth through targeted campaign powered by data and connected by story. She is a former president of the American Marketing Association of Western Michigan, and she also served as the co-host and the visionary of the organization's podcast, Marketers in Motion. That's a very cool podcast. So I'm going to let Meahgan to share her screen. Sure. And as our speaker speak, you are welcome to type your question in the chat. I'll monitor it. So Meahgan, do you want to share your screen?
Sure. I can't until you stop sharing yours, it says.
Yeah.
There you go. Gotta love technology. All right. Let's see. Well, hi, everybody. While I'm working to share my screen here, I will just give a little bit of context. So as Dr. Soon said, I was thrilled to see the land acknowledgement statement. That's awesome. As a fellow Indigenous individual and Native American woman, that's really fantastic to see. And yes, that is something that I am extremely proud of. As a heritage point for me. But also I'm just excited to be with you guys today because I am a fellow former student of Dr. Soon's, and not to throw her on the spot, but I will just say she was an incredible professor and mentor to me and really shaped where I am today. So it's exciting to be back and talking to her students today. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you on the spot there, Dr. Soon.
No, thank you.
Very true.
I want to say that, I think I was so fortunate to have Meahgan as my first group of students. She really helped shape my teaching career. Yeah.
Oh, good. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my profession, which is marketing, and the role that design plays in marketing. Because sometimes when you think of design, as Dr. Soon said, you don't have to be an artist or a designer. The word design is used in many different facets, and marketing is certainly one of those. So we're going to talk a little bit about what my career as a marketer looks like, and if this is something of interest to you, what are some of the skills and things that you would need to be a good marketer? So wanted to start here really quickly. I am a huge fan of Willy Wonka. I have been since I was a kid. And I'm very much into the beauty that Willy Wonka had about just wonder, the world was so wondrous and so open. And there was a really great quote from him called, "We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of the dreams." And I have loved this quote since I was a kid, but I think it rings really true to marketing, because this is exactly what marketers do. We are the music makers for our companies and for our clients. And we get to work with both of those to dream up some of the most amazing things, and design some of the most amazing things for our companies and our customers. So keeping that in mind, I'm not going to spend too much time here on myself since Dr. Soon already did an introduction. But what I want to talk about a little bit today is my role as a strategist. So there's many different types of marketers out there, but I am what you would call kind of a marketing strategist. And these are three areas that I focus on specifically within my profession. So client experience, there's a lot of design work here, data analytics, and really ROI analysis. What's the return on investment from our marketing? And then brand experience storytelling. So what is the messages that we're putting out into the market? So starting here, let's look at the role of the marketer. Who is a marketer? What does marketing look like? Marketing has evolved quite significantly in the past, just I would say 10 years or so. Whenever I tell people I'm a marketer, they immediately think I'm Don Draper from Mad Men. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Mad Men, and I am a big fan of the show, but things have changed since the Mad Men era, if you will. So the evolution has really kind of gone from what we would call a sales orientation era to a customer experience and digital era. So the sales orientation was really when things were a little bit more ad focused. Companies were just pushing out advertising messages or marketing messages, things that were important to the company. Now the buyers have an enormous amount of control, and they're requesting marketers to be more thoughtful and intentional in the experiences that we're designing for them, and being more thoughtful in the type of tools and mediums and platforms that we're using to communicate with them. So we've really shifted into more focus on customer experience and more focus on digital technology. So what does that mean for us as marketers now? I love this quote because this is so true. Marketers, it is our job to be able to understand our customers, to help them buy what they need to buy and help them buy it how they want to buy it. There's so much psychology actually involved in marketing as well, because we have to know our consumers inside and out to be able to design the right type of message and the right type of experience to help them solve their problem. So how do we do this? I love marketing because it's a bit of an art and a science. So the left and the right brain, right? We get to be creative. And a lot of times people think marketers are just the creative side. That's all they do. They make things pretty. They've got cool graphics. They get to have cool messaging. That's certainly a portion of it. But we also do a lot on the science side, especially now with data analytics and data information that we have to design these experiences. There's a lot that we do more on the science side actually than the creative work. So what does this look like from a marketer's perspective today? I would say these are some of the big things that we have to really focus on in the marketing profession. So the first one is the science. So we test everything that we do. So this is also important in design, right? Is designing what you're going to do, testing it, figuring out what's working, what's not working, and then relaunching based on your findings. We do the same thing in marketing. If we're going to launch a campaign, we actually write up a hypothesis if we're going to test it. We have what does A control scenario look like? What does B control scenario look like? And then we go and test it. We see how our consumers react to it, and we adjust based on our findings. So there is very much a science element to marketing. The second thing is value. If we're not putting things out there that are of value to our customers, then we're not doing our job. So every single thing that we put out there, whether it be an ad, whether it be a social media post, whether it be a full-scale campaign, has to have some element of value to our customers, which means we have to know exactly what our customers want and what's going to be important to them. Third thing is story. we have to tell compelling narratives, and we have to tell the right narrative at the right time to be able to resonate with our consumers. And this is actually probably one of my favorite ones, actually having a degree in professional writing as well. We learn how to write stories. We learn how to tell stories and tell those really compelling narratives. And this is something that's so integral to marketing. Fourth one is agility. So this talks a little bit to the evolution of marketing. Marketing nowadays has changed so much that we are so fast paced. We have to be able to adapt and be agile in all of our marketing. There's days where I've actually had to pivot campaigns on the day. We started off with something we were going to launch, and then by the end of the day, we were pivoting into something else because of something that was happening either in our company or with our consumers or even in the world. So the ability to be agile and to react on a dime is extremely important in marketing. And then the last two are really about our consumers. So simplicity and experience. We have to make things simple for our consumers. And this is where design is so important. So if you look at user experience design, that's extremely important in marketing. We have to make sure that the ease of use for our consumers is simple. We can't make things complex because that hinders the experience that they have. And we have to create a delightful experience. We have to create something that they're going to want to come back for, that they have a good interaction and experience with us, and that really sets us apart. So experience is extremely important. So what does this mean for the role of the marketer? That's kind of marketing and what we look like, but what does this mean for us as individuals and in our profession? Well, here again, I love this quote because whether you're in what we would call business to business or business to consumer or nonprofit, marketing essentials are kind of the same. We are really focusing on relevance for our consumers, the right context, the right messaging, and providing connection for them. So when I talk about the role of marketer, again, I'm talking from my kind of experience as a strategic marketer. There's many different types of marketers out there. But what I really find the heart of strategic marketing is insights. So what I get to do on a day-to-day basis is really work at setting the strategy for our companies of how we're going to go to market. But it all comes down to the insights that I can glean from multiple data sources, including our consumers, to design the right type of experience for them. And I love the definitions here, which is why I put this up here, because insights are really all about the deep, intuitive understanding. I was always a huge fan of psychology as well. And if I had more time in my undergrad, I probably would have done another major in psychology as well. But I get to use it on a day-to-day basis in my profession. And that really comes in of that deep, intuitive understanding of my consumers, understanding and knowing them inside and out. And why that's so important for marketers is because the insights that we get lead to the experience that we design. So understanding what our consumers need helps us design the right type of experience. And then both of those together lead to revenue for the company. And that's what a strategic marketer does, right? They understand what the market needs, what our consumers need. We design the right experience, the right messaging, and then that ultimately hopefully leads to revenue for the company. So what types of insights are there? This is where I'm going to spend the bulk of my time here, because I want you to get a little bit of understanding of what marketers do and what we look at. So the most important insight is our customers. So everything starts with the customer. And again, this kind of talks back to that evolution I was talking about when we were in the sales oriented era, it was more about just kind of pushing out messages, right? What was important to the company? Well, now we're really taking a more focused approach on what is important to our consumers. So these are just some of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis and that, a role of a strategic marketer would be looking at. We are always looking at what is the voice of the customer. We're running a lot of different surveys. We're doing research. We're doing feedback. We're doing focus groups to understand what our consumers are saying and how that can inform our marketing. We're looking at their journeys. We're mapping those out actually in graphical maps to understand how we design the right experience to meet that journey. We also look at things called empathy mapping, where we're taking an approach and saying, what are they feeling at this particular stage? What are they feeling when they first start to interact with us? What are they feeling when they start to talk to us, from a sales perspective? And how do we design the right messages for them? I talked a little bit about psychology. That's extremely important here. User design, experience design. So that could be on web, that could be in person. There's so many different applications for user design, but being really intentional about designing the right type of experience and story. And then, of course, measuring all of this. So this is an extremely important phase too. Measuring what is our client satisfaction, measuring what our client effort score is, how much effort are they actually having to put into an interaction with us, measuring our client lifetime value, what is the value that they bring to the company and what are we bringing back to them. So the customer insights are actually my favorite. I love customer experience because you get such an in-depth look at the consumers and what they're needing, and it really helps inform the type of marketing that you do. Second insight here is data. So everybody knows data is everywhere nowadays, but it's really about using it correctly. When we're looking at marketing, you can have so much data and you don't want to get lost in that kind of tunnel vision of it. You really have to be able to pull the right data to see the right type of insights. So I talked a little bit before about the science element. This is the same thing here. We're using data to plan, test, and analyze. We are designing experiments. We're designing tests to be able to understand what works the best for our consumers. We also have to do this ethically. So there's a lot out there right now about data privacy, data governance. We have to understand those laws to be able to use the data to inform an experience. And that's what we're looking to do. We're using it to be able to enhance the experience of our consumers. And then we have to understand what's the right ROI and cost. So we're designing these great campaigns. Is it working? Right? Are we getting anything out of it? So how do we start to look at the metrics there and really understand the ROI? And then there's so much new stuff. So the future of data, there's so much new with marketing, AI, predictive analytics, using dynamic content, all those different things, that are coming on the scene. We get to use those on a daily basis. And then the last one is research. So, customers having data, but also understanding just generalized research, which I also think is really important with designing any type of experience. So understanding what's happening in our markets. So understanding what's happening in the world with our competitors, with our industries. We have to understand how people are perceiving our brand. How do they think of our brand out there? We have to also understand if we're putting out a particular product or a particular service, how they might interact with that. Are we pricing it right? There's all different types of research that we do, again, to be able to design the right type of messaging and the right type of marketing. So last thing here is really just about setting yourself apart. So if you decide marketing's for you and you want to go that route, how do you really get to be a great marketer? So I just want to touch on a few things here and then I'll give you a list. But again, I've talked a lot about these. Adaptability is the biggest. You have to be able to adapt not only to what's happening in the world and the marketing profession, which changes overnight, but to be able to adapt to the industries that you're working in. So, being able to pick up, what companies you're working for and understand those industries. You have to be innovative. And that's why I love design so much. And I love that that's part of this minor is innovation. You have to be able to have an innovation mindset. And coming with that is drive. Like, how do we drive these things forward? How do we really start to be different and really make an impact? And then the last three there, you got to have empathy. When you're dealing with your customers and being able to understand and know them, you have to walk in their shoes. So you have to be able to have an empathetic hat on to understand exactly what they're dealing with. And the curiosity comes with that, not only with your customers, but just curiosity in general. I always tell people, if you're a marketer, you need to be a lifelong learner. I am constantly reading new things. I'm constantly reading new blogs or podcasts or whatever, because the profession changes so fast. And with that, you have to have vision. So vision, you have to have an idea of where you want to go. And where you want to put your marketing in for the company, because that's extremely important, is to be able to help people see that vision as well. So here's just my little list, things to be a great marketer. I talked about a lot of these. I think first and foremost is the ability to glean insights. So really understanding those insights that you're getting from all those data points, having the vision and the passion, being able to understand data analytics, being able to understand user experience. You got to be a killer writer and a storyteller. That's extremely important. The lifelong learning, the psychology and empathy. And then you got to know all the technology that comes along with it. So marketing has a lot of technology that we deal with, but being able to adapt to those different types of technology. So I'll leave this here. These are just some of the different types of marketing positions. I'm not going to go through all of them. Like I said, I work in the strategist role, but there's so many others. Again, I love that you're doing the social media thing. That's such a huge thing in marketing. There's actual graphic designers, creative directors that are more on the design elements. There's more on the digital. There's data scientists. So there's so many elements within marketing. So I just encourage you, if you hear marketing, don't think of just one little thing. There's so many things that you can do within the marketing profession. So I'm going to stop here. This is just a quote from me. I love my profession in marketing, and I'm so excited that I chose this route, but it's really all about working to inspire, working to solve problems and create change. And I think of it as marketers are blessed. We get to work to create magic every single day. And that's why I love this profession so much. We get to design those magical experiences. So I will stop there with questions.
Wow. I love how we can create magic experience. I think our minors should promote this, creating magic.
There you go.
Great. This should be our tagline.
There
magic
you go.
Creators.
Yes. Yeah. You get to design it. That's what design's all about.
Mm-hmm. Being a magic creator with innovation design.
There you go.
Yes,
I love it.
Thank you. I'm inspired after this marketing session. So we got some new tagline for our minors. Thank you.
I'm glad I could help there. That's great.
Okay, so I'd like to hear from the audience. Do you have questions you want to ask? Okay. Okay, I see question. Yeah.
Oh, do we have a question?
Yeah, we actually have a comment from our assistant director of the lab, that Chrissy. I didn't have a chance to introduce her yet because our technical problem at the beginning. And she said that your slide deck was beautiful.
Aww.
Yeah, she's also a lover of Willy Wonka.
Well, thank you. I think that's an important element of design, is designing, especially in presentations, designing an experience that people want to interact with. Yes.
Meahgan, before I forgot, could you please also set me as host? I figured
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There you go. You
okay.
All set.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have questions, I'm going to ask questions. And it looks like, I really like the list you gave us, that we need to have all these skills. And also the list of the types of marketing position there. I didn't know that actually web designer is counted as marketer. So good to know. So next time I do tell my students that, because I'm still teaching web design courses. I teach 2 web design courses.
Okay.
So this is a marketing position. Cool.
Yeah.
And
a lot of times companies will put that under their marketing department. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. And so could you talk more about the empathy mapping? I think this is something very cool. I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, so empathy mapping is an an offshoot of general client journey mapping. And when we look at those, we are essentially mapping out every touch point that a customer could possibly have with us. So we might say their first interaction is they look us up online, right? That could be their very first touch point. Then maybe their second touch point is they actually talk to a person on the phone. So when we do empathy mapping, we match the feeling. So empathy is all about the feeling. So when they're searching for us on the web, what are they feeling? They could be feeling frustration because they're not finding what they need to find. They could be feeling stress or panic because they have a solution that they have to solve immediately. When they talk to our salesperson or a BD or whatever it is, they could be feeling a little bit anxious because they're not understanding their solution. So we really try to map the feelings that are happening in each one of those moments. And why that's so important is because that helps us design the right type of messages. Because if we know in that moment they're going to be anxious or stressed, we're not going to design something that's super complex. We're going to appeal to those emotions to say, here's how we can help you solve that. We're going to help you walk through a very complex situation. So understanding their emotions actually helps us design the right type of marketing message.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I still want to know whether audience have questions. Feel free to ask questions.
And if you don't have any questions now, you can always contact me later. I'm more than happy to answer questions online as well.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think that you can share your slides with us?
Yeah, I'll shoot you over an email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think another question people tend to have that, after seeing your long list, actually, I think that to be a successful marketer, it will be very challenging journey because you need to know how to tell good stories, and you need to be very good at technology, and you need to have this design in your talent. How did you manage it?
Well, it takes time. I mean, nobody expects you to be a great marketer right off the bat. I mean, you've got to work your way and have experiences. And the same thing was true for me. It was all about having the right experience and doing that. But you really do have to be just a phenomenal storyteller. I mean, that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. We really tell the stories of our brands, and the technology is a huge component too. And I will say that's something why I say lifelong learning is so important. There's new technology that pops up daily that I still don't even know. I mean, I'm still trying to learn TikTok. So, there's just new stuff that pops up that you constantly have to be learning to be able to use it effectively.
Yeah. But I think also this exciting part of this career because you keep learning and you're always doing cool stuff.
Right? You are exactly right. And that's why I love it so much is no day is never the same. I'm always doing something new. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think Eric made a comment that he wants to thank you for the presentation, all the insight. He learned a lot from this talk. If there are no questions, so I want to let you know that this video will be online probably next week, and then people can watch it. And then also you can get slides for people who are here today. You can get slides. And then I also want to let you know that we are going to have a next event about service design in April. So that will be done by our artist in residence, Janelle. She'll talk about how to make artwork and a service with purpose. And she also will share some projects that how her student in the studio design class that work with Africanist refugees this quarter. So it will be cool. And we want to thank you for coming to this event. And please stay in touch. And don't forget, we have this event. And also I think I'm going to just share the screen in a different way so you can see more about the website. So I want to show people this one, our social media competition. Yeah, I'm also going to put this link in the chat. So you're welcome to join, submit your entry. Actually, we're looking for your entries for the 2 grand prize. And as you, particularly after today's talk, I hope you're motivated to become a successful marketer then by connecting arts and science. Yeah. Thank you.